you ready to party? Let's go. This week's special episode coming to you from Long Beach, California. What's up, everybody? We had a little lapse last week with some scheduling conflicts, so we're sorry that we skipped a week. And we're bringing to you a little show today. It's myself and Danielle Baltazar Cravat.
Hey, honey, it's Danny here.
Do you like it when you're announced that way? Like the two-tone last name, or...
I kind of let you guys roll with it, because I know pretty much Tim just throws whatever last name out there.
I like it.
He chooses that day.
I think it sounds fancier.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Cravat.
Yeah.
It's actually cravat, though. A lot of people say cravat, but...
It's cravat?
No, it's cravat.
It's cravat. What nationality is cravat?
I have no idea. It's my husband's.
Well, then I'll make sure I hit up Chris and I'll ask him about that. I was like, shout out to Chris. Dude, have you filled up your gas tank at all this week?
Yes. So luckily, I got me a new hybrid now. Oh. So I went from my last ride was a gas lugger. And so I had a Rubicon, and I was with the route I do, because I drive a lot.
Yeah.
It was like me filling up, like if I filled up on a Monday, I'd be filling up again on Wednesday. So how much would it cost to fill up your tank? On empty? Then on empty, would be like $70. So I'm thinking like 100 now. So it'd be like $100 every like 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So I got rid of...
That's too much.
Yeah, exactly. I got rid of that Jeep just in time and got the hybrid Jeep.
Yeah.
Now I'm filling up every 2 to 3 weeks.
So clearly you're a fan of Jeep.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a diehard, loyal, won't leave.
I'm not going to lie. I walked up and I was like, damn, this is a ride. Whose is this?
Yeah.
That's super rad. Yeah, I was just going to say I filled up my tank yesterday and it was $130.
Oh, God.
And,
did it cap out? Because my work van's been capping out. They won't let me fill it up.
So you'll have like a dollar maximum sometimes at different gas stations where, it'll tap out and you're still not even topped off.
Yeah, for my work vehicle, it'll stop at 80 and maybe I'll have about a half a tank.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I know like inflation, right? Hot button topic right now, I think we can say.
I wonder who did that.
Joe Biden.
Who said that?
Hi, everybody.
Who said that?
It's Tim Fisher. I'm not on camera.
And I didn't even introduce you.
I didn't want
to introduce you.
Oh, my God. Hey.
We were good.
Okay.
No,
Secret show.
So everybody knows I'll be off camera for a while. I'm going to be taking a break from the podcast, but I'm here controlling the stuff today. But
okay,
we're all good. But yeah, no, the inflation, I did want to talk about that. The gas prices, because I think that's actually, if anything, it's really impacting the middle class and lower classes right now. Like hardcore.
100%. I think that it's just, it's not just obviously gases. It's everything. You know, look at the real estate market, just your food that you're buying, you know, and it's like, I don't know. I'm one of those people, like I have like one thing that I gauge everything off of. And for me, it's milk. Like
milk, huh?
Yeah, because it's like I feel like you see like anytime if you're watching, you know, it's like something spikes up, something shoots down. I feel like for some reason milk to me always stands out with the cost adjustment. And right now, for a gallon of vitamin D organic is like $8.
Oh yeah,
$8 for milk?
For a gallon of milk.
Shows you how much I go buy milk.
And I'm a 2 gallon a week person.
Well, you got kids.
It's mainly Chris.
Oh no! Is Chris a cereal guy?
Dude, Chris will like have dinner, like a steak dinner and everything, and goes and gets like the biggest, like a cup like this, and just fills it with milk and has it with his meal.
Oh, so he's like old school, growing up, milk with dinner. Like, you don't get your dessert until you finish your.
Yeah,
at least that's how it was in my family.
I'm the cereal eater, so that's where mainly my milk goes.
Okay, favorite 2 cereals, go.
Oh God,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch
and that probably.
Nice.
But I won't be eating that. Like right now, I'm on Honey Bunches of Oats kick.
Good flavor, terrible
texture?
Like longevity in the milk. Honey Bunches of Oats. Other than the oat clusters, the rest of the corn flakes that they put in there, like I feel like sog up in 10 seconds.
I like have It's funny because I feel like I have little tantrums when I have cereal because every time I'm like, okay, now I'll make my bowl, and then like one of my kids will say, "Can you get this for me?" So I got to put it down. So it's sitting there while I'm rushing. Yeah. So then I finally get back to it, and then Chris, "Can you do this?" So by the time I finally get my cereal, it's soggy. It's like I'm racing against time.
Which is interesting.
Cereal sometimes.
Which is interesting that you choose Honey Bunches of Oats to be, because like I feel like this is like one of those pre-game.
Like I knew what I jumped into.
Well, you should get like Captain Crunch. Something that takes patience to approach, or at least that's for me.
Have you guys ever made the Captain Crunch, like Rice Krispie treats? What you do with Captain Crunch?
I have not, and I will in the next 48 hours.
Bro, it's bomb fire. It'll probably spike your insulin levels, but it's so good.
My friend makes that around Easter time, and we call it bunny crack.
Oh, really? Yeah. With Captain Crunch?
Yeah, like different cereals type things.
Because I've used the chocolate Rice Krispie treats, or chocolate Rice Krispies. Do they still make that? Have you guys seen?
Do they?
Well, it was a thing.
How many people are logging off right now?
Cereal and milk prices? We're out of here. They're like, they said this is a weekly update. I was like, well, newsflash, we're throwing you some gems here. All right. So what do we know so far? We know that gas costs a lot. Milk's $8. Honey Bunch of Oats doesn't hold up past the 30-second test in milk. And
unless you like squeegeeing it at the top
Captain
of your
Crunch,
mouth, like I do.
Ew, gross. Squeegeeing it.
Well, how high do you think gas prices are going to go? Because the things I've been reading is it's still going to climb because of the conflict in Ukraine right now. I'm wondering, like, I remember there's a few movies back in the day that I watched, and it was like apocalypse type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you see people like running in the distance, or they're running away, they're getting out of their cars, but you see at the gas stations, like the gas was like $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon. It's really interesting.
That is true.
I'm always kind of like, well, how high is it going to go?
I mean,
it seems like it's unstoppable almost,
Did you see how they like denied the gas tax?
For California?
Yeah.
Didn't they try to
They're trying to suspend it, like I guess temporarily for at least the next 6 months. And then when they went and voted on it, like all the people, like the politicians voting against it.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And then I know
it's interesting.
One of the things that I follow, they listed the people who voted for what. Like the red arrows mean this, and then the green, this is who voted not to get rid of it. And of course, it's all like the big names. So he's like, remember those names when election comes.
Yeah, and I think that in all the craziness of everything that's going on as far as, our governmental response to things, if you want to change it, the only way you can is by electing new people in those positions. I don't think there's anything there, and even that's almost a little crazy, right? Because there's a lot of people. I mean, that list that you were talking about, I'm sure there's more than 20, you know what I mean, of longstanding political members that are voting against something to help alleviate, a situation for everyone, right? And it's like, why is that? You can jump into, the conspiratorial side that everyone's got a piece of the pie, right? But it also, you make the argument that how could someone who makes like $170,000 a year be worth a couple $100 million?
Ooh,
it's because of those types of scenarios, right? Is that their cousin has some sort of, buy-in on this company, and then, they move money around because it's donated. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
But it continues down the problem. And it's like, I read an article, I wasn't super versed on the exact vote for the gas tax, like of who was in and who was out. But the article that I was reading was talking about the fact that they're even voting on it. Like, it's not like an emergency use type act where it's like, hey, we need to suspend the prices, at least fix them where they're at now, even though right now I could consider is extraordinarily too high.
Yeah.
But the ramification, or not ramifications. God, I was trying to use a big word right there. But what can potentially happen? I mean, you could see $7, $8, $9 gas costs. God, But then if you turn on the television, that there isn't right here. I'm just pointing at the wall for some reason. When you turn on the TV, there was Stephen Colbert, right? If no one's familiar with him, late night television show, used to have a kind of played the counterpart to Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, like conservative.
I actually like him.
I liked him.
Let's just say liked, yeah.
And what I feel like is whether to a certain extent those shows are an act. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, it's scripted. They're obviously pushing a certain genre of that. But now having been on the Tonight Show or whatever his show is called, it's like there's been a handful of things over the past few years where he's like been very outspoken about, and it's like it's funny because it's like completely opposite of what he was about on his show on Comedy Central. But what I was getting to with this whole deal is that the other night I saw a clip of him talking about the inflation of gas prices. Mm-hmm. And he said that he didn't care if gas prices got to $15 a gallon if it makes him feel better when he fills up knowing that money is going to help certain things. And I thought, I was like, first of all, because the article had this in it, is that he owned like a bunch of electric vehicles. So it wasn't.
We're all heartless because.
Well, right. We're heartless because we have a hard time spending an extra $70-$80 at the tank or at the gas pump. Mm-hmm. I think that is just what that guy said to me encapsulates a lot of things that are wrong and the spark of all the hypocrisy throughout everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, yeah, dude, that's no big deal to you. You have a contract making $30 million a year. Yeah. And more than likely, your daily commuter is all electric. And then it's like, well, then everyone should buy an electric because that's what Pete Buttigieg is running on, saying that everyone just needs to do their part and buy an electric vehicle. And it's like, well, motherfucker,
electric vehicles are $60,000. Yes.
And they're like, not everyone needs to get the highest, newest, coolest, whatever. But even baseline models are still $40,000+.
I mean, mine right now is like $20K more than what I would have wanted to spend. But at the same time, it's like I probably would have been spending more with the gas.
Yeah, and I mean, just to encapsulate the inflation marker, it's like. And by the way, I said MFer. I've been really trying to not use the F word for a while.
Same
it's
here.
like, go back on a lot of the episodes. Like, I've really gone. Anyway.
I already failed.
But I just
6:30 this morning.
But you know what? Yeah. I was like, I woke up. I'm pretty sure it was one of the first things out of my mouth to the alarm clock. No, it's like, it just fires me up. Mm-hmm. So my apologies. But it's really just disappointing when it's like that's the answer. Mm-hmm. The answer isn't to change on the other side, meaning like the government to change something. The answer is for everyone to change their perspective to make sure this is just where it's going. Get your head right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gas is going to be $7-8 a gallon, so you probably should buy an electric vehicle even if it's out of your means of what you can afford. And I don't know. But
I think it's ridiculous because, like you said, how many people can really afford an electric vehicle?
Yeah, not a lot.
No, and on top of inflation, the price of rent going up, the cost of living's going up, everything's skyrocketing. So you expect people to go out and take a $40,000+ loan to get an electric vehicle? This is not going to happen. Right. And it's almost like this pie in the sky, of the unfortunately our current administration. It's almost like they're not living in reality. They're not seeing the reality of the everyday American, the middle class and below. And I feel like we are the ones getting wiped out right now.
And I think that it's the way that they will talk about the socioeconomic class. When they say middle class, I feel like they're not really referring to the middle class, the actual people in the middle, that pay the most taxes, that are constantly, you can't, it's like, you're not powerful enough to escape certain things to be able to sidestep stuff. You're doing your part and you're not still gaining anything really back. You're kind of just always in this plateau state where it's like, okay, well, I made a little bit more money. I got that raise. I busted my ass for the last 5 years to get into a new position. And then as soon as I get into that position, I'm in the next tax bracket, which puts me back another 10% of what I've been making on top of everything else that goes on around it. So it's like, I feel like things kind of always just end up rounding off. Where it's like it excludes, and not taking away people that are, in the bottom part of the class there as far as socioeconomically, mm-hmm. right? Because when I feel like when I talk like this, I just sound heartless. Like I'm like, well, people need help. I was like, I agree.
Yeah,
we absolutely need to. I'm not saying stop distribution mm-hmm. of wealth to a certain extent, because I do feel like people need extra help.
Yeah,
but I also feel like
there's steps to get there. You can't just jump. you have to make because if you just do that jump and things fall apart, then it's like harder to fix everything.
Absolutely.
So I totally get, yeah.
And and I feel like I don't feel like there's ever going to be like someone who just walks into that position and just be like, I got it. Nailed it. Right?
Party's here.
Right.
Step aside.
But I also feel like there's things that we can do that like have a little bit more of a commonsensical approach. Like, I mean, for us, like in California, like we're going to get rid of all gasoline engines.
This is by what, 2035?
2035. So we have, 13 years?
Well, you bring up another good point that I thought about. Excuse me. It's not only like, okay, go get an electric vehicle, but because of, I believe you guys might know this, but the chip shortage, now used vehicles are skyrocketing.
Oh, yeah.
Skyrocketing. Dude, a car that should be worth, I don't know, $6,000 to buy is now 10 to 12.
Yeah.
And people are paying for it.
AKA my truck.
Yeah.
My truck is 11 years old and I have 150,000 miles on it. And I was just like out of curiosity because I always look for vehicles. I'm like, see what I can afford or what I can get. Yeah. And I was starting to search for trucks that met my parameter, and they're $12,000, $13,000, and I'm thinking, wow, because I thought I'd get 5 or 6, and I'm just like, dude, it's like to get a $20,000 used vehicle that's 5 or 6 years old, not $20,000, that'd be cheap depending on what we're talking about here, but it's like it almost encourages you just to buy a new vehicle. Right? Because it kind of puts you on that weird precipice. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what do I do?
And then the upsale on those is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And the hybrids, $10,000 is what I'm averagely seeing is being sold more than sticker.
For the hybrid?
For hybrids.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And the way things are going seems a lot more economical. But like normally when the big push of getting things that are economical out there, the price would be economical, right? Yeah. So, which is not being reflected at all. So it's like if our big push for this state, not even the whole country, just rip on California here for a second. Just for this state, it's like, well, what else are they doing around it to at least make it more affordable?
Yeah.
Clearly, the cost of the vehicles aren't going down. The fuel sources are not going down. The public transit is not going up. Because it's like, okay, well, if we can get on board with this and just be like, hey, look, the cheapest thing would be is to make all electric buses, push public transit as much as we can and dump about $8 billion into that infrastructure plan and get that out there to everybody, right? If that's the push, because we want to be, quote unquote, net zero emissions.
Exactly. They're going to start raising the electricity bills too. Well, that's how they're going to get you. So it's like either way, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, almost. Right, and that's always been kind of my thought process. Now, right now, you're good. I mean, electric prices still, depending on what your charging setup is going to be way cheaper than gas. There's no comparison. Yeah. But I also feel like that's just right now.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say you do make the switch. Well, what does that do? I mean, the pros and cons of a capitalistic marketplace is that consumer requests drive prices of availability, right? So what are we going to do? It's like, okay, well, if now all fuel is or not all fuel, but all gasoline-based engines are illegal in the state,
can you imagine?
Well, one, the gas price the gas that is left, I'm sure is going to be double what we're paying now. Yeah. And then what are you going to do for now? Okay, everyone needs a charge port at their house. If you're a business owner and you're like, hey, well, instead of charging them, $2,000 to install one of those, I could charge them $5,000 because I can double my profit because they need it. Yeah,
and like you can.
And until the market gets flooded with vendors that want to do that type of installation and sales, then it doesn't matter. And that's just how I feel like that's just kind of how everything works. Yeah. And so it's like, then who has to deal with it? It's us. Right. So it's like, okay, well, we either get on board or get out. And it's like, I don't know. That's where I have a problem with a lot of it. It's like, I can get behind, doing some safer, energy kind of, outlets, but show me something in a proposal of what you're going to do that makes sense. For the state, the big thing, this was 4 or 5 years ago, right? The big thing was the bullet train. We're going to have a bullet train. China's got a bullet train. Europe has bullet trains. Everyone does. It's so awesome. Well, what did we do? We're like, yeah, let's go from LA to Sacramento. Right in the middle of the state.
Yeah.
That was your big idea.
Yeah.
And that was $100 billion who Feinstein's husband got the contract on that one, just in case if anyone isn't aware of that. That was like a $200 million payout. So I guess go them. But, I don't know. I just get so like upset because I feel like the common sense never prevails in these type of scenarios.
And then on top of it also, just to like create all these batteries, like that's going to do some damage. It's not, it's not like it's considered like clean.
Yeah. Making those batteries actually worse for the environment.
Yeah.
That's why I laugh when they're talking about all these green deals and stuff. You realize these plants, wherever they make these batteries for lithium ion, they're putting more emissions out into the universe or sky than any of these cars are right now.
Yeah, but do you know where those are manufactured?
Where?
Not in the United States.
Of course it's not.
So it doesn't have anything to do with our net neutrality as far as carbon emission, because that's how you sidestep that. You outsource it all. It's like the same thing we're doing with the oil, right? We had the Keystone Pipeline amongst. That's not the only one. There's a bunch of different ones.
Which is shut down, right?
Yes. Well, I believe most of them are shut down. Not in the, because I think there's. I don't want to say it's not North Dakota, but it's like some middle state northern area where they I think it's crude oil refineries that they still manufacture crude oil. But they need to ship it to a refinement centers and stuff to be used. And anyways, one of the things I was reading was that, they were saying like how, like, okay, we cut off Russia. Well, Russia isn't our main import of petroleum. It's not petroleum.
They're a big import. We get most of our oil from them, right? 200,000 barrels a day or something?
We actually get it from multiple spots, but they're like, as far as like the overall numbers, they're around, I think like 12 to 15% of what we take in. So it's like we get it from them, Saudi Arabia, some parts of Canada, Mexico.
Okay, see, so I don't understand is we're buying from our enemies? Like, isn't that dangerous? Like, shouldn't we be self-sufficient and have our own oil so we don't have to depend on them? Because what if they cut that off? What if right now with Ukraine, it does turn into a huge war? I don't want to say World War III, but it keeps escalating. I think we could get really screwed over.
Yeah, but that's what's happened, right? So that's what shows you, like, because with the first, and I'm not trying to make this like a whole Trump thing. It's not. But if you're just talking about the administrations, right? The administration previous, the push was to be self-reliant on energy source, right? So in this case, we're talking about oil, right? So Keystone Pipeline, multiple other pipelines, in effect, not only causes jobs, safer for the environment, cheaper on transport because now everything's flowing through a tunnel, not being barreled, loaded up on trucks, hundreds, thousands of trucks deploying these all over this. It's not like, we could kind of use the pipeline to funnel things, which would essentially make it more eco-friendly, right? And I don't know if you ever seen pictures of it, but they're showing like what it takes to like cut through forests to build, like essentially small highways for transport versus the pipeline. It was like the pipeline just runs in between the trees. Right. Like it doesn't have to anything to dig up. They have to have support members, but it's a much smaller inverse of actually having to go through, plow through the forest, creating roads, all this other stuff. It's just, I'm sure there's a handful of things that are negative about it too. So I'm not going to sit here and just be like, it's the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. But you know what it is? It's another option. And it's something that in case of this scenario, like what we're talking about, with at least getting one of our sources being cut down, because it's not just Russia saying like, hey, or us cutting Russia out, being like, we're sanctioning you, we're not taking anything from you anymore. It's all of our imports. I mean, we kind of like skip past what happened about, 8 months ago? When all the import plays like in Long Beach and on the East Coast, everyone was getting backed up, and they had miles and miles of these cargo ships just chilling off the coast. You know what I mean? It's like everything gets held back. So it's hard. I feel like I have a hard time sometimes talking about it because I bounce around so much, because it's just like all the interwebbing of how everything functions. Yeah. And it's like I feel like we do that to ourselves from the top down. And what happened with this administration, one of the first things they did cut off was our ability to support ourselves with oil, right? So that's a great question. Why would we do that to ourselves? In my honest opinion, it's because you're shooting for this checkbox, right? Like the checkbox is when you're I mean, look, when you're running for a political position and you say, I am going to make sure this happens. Well, one of his things was it's not the Green New Deal. I hate saying that because it's like there's so much a part of the Green New Deal, but his net neutrality of carbon emissions, like that's a big one, right? Because like is it the World Economic God dang it. What is the name of that? I feel that's like when all the leaders of the countries get together and have this dick measuring contest of who's cooler. Like, look, we're at 0% emissions. So it's like, yeah, but you outsource everything.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you make?
You put the burden on the rest of the world. And then now it's like, okay, so we sit here and be like, oh, we don't make any of that. So our emission rate is almost at 0. But we take all of our shit from India, India or China, which are the number 1, 2 as far as pollution creators in the world. But no one but that's cool. Like that it's like, well, at least it's not us. And I don't know. It's just
well, I think it's ridiculous because I think all of us the way we grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, right? Mm-hmm. Families, we're middle class, maybe lower, but it's like I see Danny in her job and what she does and the vehicles she drives. It's absolutely impacting her job where she has to raise her prices because the fuel is so freaking expensive. So I think about her. I think about, other people such as we have small business. I mean, everything's going up. So it's like, why do we have to suffer? You know what I'm saying? Because of a current administration's choices. To me, it shocks me. It's like, wow, these votes and the people they're in can change so much so fast and screw us over.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So they don't have to deal with it themselves. So
no, they're rich.
Big deal. So
Right.
Yeah.
But that is the breakdown of the socioeconomical structure in the country and how it affects each group, right? The top ones really don't give a shit because they're going to make money either way. They might make more or they might have a harder year where they still are making a lot, but it's not as much. Mm-hmm. The lower end of the group is not in a state of, being impacted, I think, as much because it's like, well, if everything on your income side is going to be something that is some sort of government subsidy, unless you've gotten yourself out of that position as far as like creating a new job or working somewhere or go do school, education, whatever it is to like get out of that next step, you're probably not going to be affected because they typically don't cut the funds in those areas, right? So it kind of keeps, which that's a whole other topic of keeping people in a certain spot. But it's the middle class.
Yeah.
The middle class is what eats it on the chin. Because you're not going to stop working. No. But you're going to deal with the prices, and then you got to deal with bringing those prices up, and then your customers are going to be like, "Oh my god, I got to pay this much more."
Yeah.
And you're like, you have to explain that every time. You're like, dude.
Some of my customers, their price jumped like $20.
Fuck.
$20 I charge, and I'll let them know ahead of time, because I have people. I closed down that section because I moved from that area, so it's like I'm not gonna be driving all the way out there for you guys because gas and everything. But I have some people begging me and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But I just want you to know I have to charge this much because, it costs this much just to get to you. And they're taking it. And then I kind of got screwed last week because one of my customers wrote down the wrong date. And I didn't even work that day. I was kind of doing them a solid by going in on a day off.
Yeah.
And got to their house. They forgot they weren't even there. So I just drove all the way back. I was like, just driving there back cost me $12.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's on your bill next week. So, but
yeah, but you can see.
But you see that I see the impact greatly. I'm actually probably going to sell my work vehicle in May.
Whoa.
But I'm going to be going into like a salon type thing because I think what I'm going to do is kind of get my bearings there, and then I want to try and open up my own salon now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
So I've already talked to some
That's
investors and stuff. So see how that goes.
Hard to not see it and go for it sometimes. It's just right. Dude, that's so awesome to hear. Good for you.
But so I'm not as confident on this, so I'm kind of hoping you fill me in on this. But did you hear? So Biden was talking a lot about the green project, then jumps from that to saying we are producing more in the first year of oil. Was that what he's saying? Something like that? Did you hear that? Catch that? You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like I kind of I heard the statement, but I wasn't sure what he was talking about. Because if he's saying that
because that's kind of the funny part is it's like confusing,
right? So because that would be like, well, what does it mean we're producing?
Yeah,
like because I thought we weren't supposed to be producing,
but we're not.
anything.
That's the thing. It's I know what you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about?
It's a straight bold-faced lie. We're not
okay
at all. Where everything's outsourced. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because even the oh my god, again, I don't know what state it is, but they were whoever the governor is for that state made a comment talking about how much like crude oil they can produce in a day versus like what their import was. I think he was using Russia as an example, but so like Russia could bring in like 200 million or was it 200,000 barrels a day? Maybe it's 200,000.
It was like 200,000
a day though, right? Where he was saying that in their state they average like 550,000 a day. So it's like we can have like a central source, basically production line within our country and be able to like sidestep export fees and import fees, right? To essentially drive that cost of the barrel down, because I think right now we're at $130 a barrel, right? Which I thought the highest I'd ever heard was like 80, right? Like, and you know what I mean? So and with, like you were saying earlier, like where is it going to stop? I don't think it has there's no like rubric scale where it's like, oh, if this costs this much, then we're going to bump it 8%, 7%, 6%. You know what I mean? And obviously there's very smart people that adjust it. There's teams of people that are like, it's not just like sitting here going, what do you think? Or like, fucking $9.
Yeah. They have shots right before they stepped in on the mics.
Like, how are we going to do this? But I think that the craziest part in all of this is that we are just supposed to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. And however you feel about it, it's like, yeah, because you figure, this is the way I look at it. When somebody goes on TV and they talk about, they're like, we should be doing this. Like Stephen Colbert. The reason why I brought that up is because when he was saying, that even if it went to $15 a gallon, I feel like I'm doing my part and I'm okay with that. Right? You figure that
they play on everybody's emotions so much.
Of course.
It's like,
because
drives me nuts.
If you said, hey, we're going to increase the cost of gas by $2, but by doing that, we're guaranteeing 10 kids in some village somewhere that are going to get the education, or let's say 10 kids per village, per this whole place, right? For sure, we're going to be doing it. There's going to be a lot of people out there that go, you know what? I'm okay with that. You know what? I'll pay a little bit more if I know that I'm directly helping. But that's obviously that doesn't happen. But just that kind of twist on I'm doing my part by just following along.
They start playing the Arms and the Angel song,
right? Yeah, it's like Sarah McLachlan steps in. It's like for less than 5 cents a day, you can help these little dogs in need. And then it's just some shaking.
And it looks like Tim's dog shaking.
Just feed me. And you're like,
just me when you see those, I feel like shit. You're just like, God damn it, here's $5.
I just fast forward.
Ruthless.
That commercial and the Shriners commercial. I feel like I'm a dick. I was like, not a dick, but like I have like no soul sometimes, you know, because I'm seeing like these poor fucking children, dude.
I know.
Like there's kids on there with, like one arm or anything like that, and I'm like, oh my God.
It's always like when you're at home watching a movie on TV and you're just chowing down a burger, all this excess food, and you see that on TV. It's like, God damn it.
The elephant one gets to me.
The elephant one?
Yeah.
Which one's the elephant one?
Where they're poaching them.
Oh, yeah. See,
save the rainforest.
Those always pop up. They always pop up when I'm having I'm not having a bad day, but I'm thinking about something. Like, you know what I mean? It's
You're
like bothering
fuck,
me.
I got it made.
Or like but it's like a selfish thought.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I wish I had more. If I only had a little bit more money, I could do this and not be stressed out. And then the commercial will pop on. Like it's always, for me, it's always the Shriners one. Yeah. And it's like there's a kid with he's born without an arm or a leg or these other thing, and they're showing clips
just
of them
$1
playing
a day.
basketball.
Give them oatmeal for breakfast.
Well, no, it wasn't. It's not that. It's so they can get medical treatments.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But like, I think, oh my God, dude, it's like they're smart.
Yeah.
Whoever does those commercials, they're very intelligent because it does exactly what they probably plan them to do. Just jabs you in the gut and say, suck it up.
Oh, it's like
Your life's pretty fucking rad.
What is it, like the TV evangelist taking the old lady's money? Just give us.
My favorite one right now is the holy water.
What?
If you buy the holy water, it's like, I don't know, $20, $15, and part of it goes to, something that would make us feel better. Yeah. But it's literally like just a tube with water. Yeah.
They sell holy water?
Oh, yeah. And I love the infomercial. They get all crazy on there, like, oh, praise.
Do you guys remember Benny Hinn? Benny Hinn used to do that. He would slap his jacket on people and they'd fall down. He had all these followers. And he would go on and be like, if you just buy one of these handkerchiefs for $500.
Shut it.
I swear to God. And he'd be like, if you
my money.
Yeah, he would say, if you donate $1,000, I'll put your name on my private jet Dove One. Oh. I swear, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I swear. I'm just like, what the hell are people doing?
And thousands of people probably did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And did you hear stories of the old ladies every time, and they're always giving up their money, and now they're broke.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I gave it to the Lord.
I remember when I'd be at my grandma's house, she'd be watching like the Christian channel or whatever, and like they'd be all gaudy with their big like hair wigs as like an old lady, but like he had this big old wig and dressed in like these gold outfits. And praise Jesus,
because it's a formal function.
Yeah,
I was like old school. I was like going to church. They put on your Sunday best.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
I mean
yes.
that's where that. I feel like comes from, right?
Yeah, there's a show you guys need to watch on Netflix called Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, yeah.
Have you watched that?
I've seen the first episode.
It plays off of how we grew up in church.
Really?
But it's from like the pastors and their family's perspective. It's wild because it's just how I grew up, like Pentecostal. They're asking for money, do all this, and they go in the back. They're like, "Man, you fucking idiot!" And they're cussing and doing all this, and they go out, and it's insane.
Because Danny McBride's in that.
Yes, and it's super funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, I've been trying to find some humor the past like week or so, and I turned that on. I was absolutely belly laughing. I know you would like it, Danny.
Oh,
I know you would like it.
I'll have to give it a shot.
I wonder, like, if they were super annoyed with us singing Veggie Tales every week.
Did you guys watch Veggie Tales?
Absolutely.
The moment they played that, like all of us, like,
oh yeah,
like all annoying and everything.
Oh yeah. You know what question I actually do have about the gas prices? I don't know if you guys know this, but did the federal interest rate being risen, however you want to say it, did that affect inflation for gas and other things in our country as well, or is that specifically for home ownership and getting loans?
I mean, I feel like every adjustment on that
screws everything else up, right?
Yeah, because it would be more specific to like us probably in the loan market, which predominantly, unless you're doing a business loan, is probably going to be for a home, right? So, and I know that rates have gone up. I think they're like in the 4% era, which is still like low, right? In like the big scheme of things. I mean, if you went back to like the 80s, like a home loan would be at like 18%. Right. So, but the cost of the house might have been like 150.
Dude, my dad's house, 78 when he bought it, he got it for 100 grand. It was like just over 100. And he said he was stretching it then. And his interest rate, he said, was like 16%.
Yeah. So that's I've had like my dad made kind of a similar comment, like it's crazy how cheap and if you grow up knowing that those were the interest rates, I mean, right now you're probably like, this is insane. I got mine for 2.75 or 2.5 or maybe it was 2%. I don't know. It was a good loan.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the house cost $500,000.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess it's all in hindsight, kind of runs back, like it kind of evens out, I guess, but at the same time, not really, because like the cost of your item is like 10 times as much.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you had to pay 16%, but this house was $200,000, you know what I mean? Like you're still,
trust your judgment on that math, because I'm like that meme right now with all the numbers.
With the guy when he's
I'm like
with Charlie Day.
When Jordan's talking math and you just see me like, yeah.
So Jordan's Rain Man, you see him in the back, all these numbers.
What's so funny is that episode on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that scene with Charlie Day when he was...
Oh, it's so famous now?
Yeah, but when that came out, I was like, dude, that is my brain. Like,
and he looks so wired.
And he's just...
Yeah.
Because if this goes here and this goes... You know what I mean? And it's like, God, sometimes I feel like with all the technological advancement, the one thing that I think is really cool are like the meme GIF generation.
Yeah.
Because now... I feel like I could respond my exact emotions via this picture or little clip or something.
Oh, man. I sent one to Tim this week, and it's had me dying ever since I saw it.
Pretty fucking funny.
Because that's just what I pictured
We're not gonna say what it was.
We're not gonna say what it was, but that's what I was picturing on the topic we were talking about. And I was just like wheezing, like shaking the bed, trying not to wake up anybody. I'm like,
That's awesome.
I'll show you when we're done. It's pretty fucking good. It's pretty funny, dude.
Yeah. So I guess I
couldn't wait to send it to him too. I couldn't wait. I sent it on Instagram. He didn't open it yet, so I had to text it to him.
Yeah, I'm off Instagram for a bit. But yeah, I think I have like 60 messages, and like I'm off Instagram for a while. I need to take a break.
Yeah.
A little break.
Hey, sometimes it's good for the soul, dude.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you get into these. I was actually thinking about this the other day. It was like, I don't know, like. I remember like my grandpa liked to go like outside like for a little while during the day and like kind of he'd work on stuff. He'd be out in the garage, you know what I mean? He'd make it sound like he's doing like some project, but I go out there and he's like tinkering away, something, drinking a beer. But like I feel like those kind of like moments to like just kind of gather your own thoughts and like it's different now. Because there's like so many, I feel like kind of, not that you have to, but everyone's kind of ingrained in this. Like we're so glued to our phones because of social media and like that's how like you're going outside and sipping on a beer or having a second to just kind of clear your mind and think. You don't really do that anymore.
No, it's been refreshing for me. Just because, you know, not to say too much on here, but yeah, you guys will be doing this for a little bit. I'm taking a break, but it's been nice to not be connected to social media and just like not look at my phone and exist for a second.
Oh,
it's very refreshing. I've taken a lot of walks this past week.
Yeah,
it's been nice.
I think that that's healthy, and I think that that's something like my wife and I are even talking about it, and I know she's like, "Why do you bring me up?" No. We were talking about
You're
like
already
just like, being on
me out
phone.
on the nuggets.
No.
Hi, Christine.
Yeah, no, it's not
okay, Christine. I'm guilty too.
It's not I don't mean this in a negative way at all. What I meant is that like talking about how much that we're on our phones and in our downtime, like that's what you choose to use that downtime just scrolling through your phone, whether that's catching up on text messages or, you know, Instagram, or like I happen to look at a lot of like YouTube food videos just because I'm obsessed with like that cooking and thinking I can make stuff that I haven't tried. So but like in that time period, it's like you're not really like, there's no like self-reflection. There's no like, if you're trying to take that break to kind of like hit the restart button in your head, or time with, you know, with your significant other or something, you know what I mean? It's just, I feel like those are kind of like the tough parts that technology brings, you know? So it's like, what's the next step from here? It's like, oh, hey babe, what a crazy day. And then you put on your Metaverse thing and then God, you're fucking, I'm going to go.
You want a hug?
Oh, dude, it's like, what was that movie with Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock?
Total Recall?
No, Demolition Man.
Demolition,
Yeah.
great movie.
Yeah,
Great
where they were like, when they're, well,
Hey, you know what? Hit that bell. I'm proud.
That's a good pull.
And yeah, and I was like, I couldn't even think about it. I malfunctioned there.
It's okay.
Tommy
right.
Jordan knows a lot. A little bit, a lot.
A little bit about a lot.
I was like, how'd you
not a
pull
lot
that
about it. No, but that's it reminds me, like the whole Metaverse reminds me of like that's where things are going. And like, you know, because there was like, if anyone has watched the movie, spoiler alert, but they hook up. And when they don't hook up like physically, they put on goggles and these gloves, and they're gonna, you know, hook up in this digital universe,
like Coneheads when they're like.
But at least they're aliens, right? There's probably, you know, yeah, I know. Chris, that was good. But yeah, no, and it's like that is gonna. I feel like that's the push. Like it's going that direction, right? So it's like we're all these things that we used to do to like whether it's spending time with each other or spending time for yourself. Like it's being obstructed by this like inability to like I can't do this without this.
Well, I don't think people understand the importance of human connection. To actually sit down face to face and just chat with somebody without having your device around, like we do it here on the podcast.
I love it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually a beautiful thing. It's almost, you know, the art of the conversation is being lost. You just see people diving into their phones all the time, you know.
Oh.
And I always try to read a book a month. I blew through 2 books this week, just chilling.
Wow.
Instead of looking at my phone or playing solitaire on my phone, you know.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like that's being lost, and I wonder our current generation that's kind of born in this time where they don't know life without phones like we do, or Facebook or social. Like we grew up without that. You know, I remember I saw this picture this week of these kids like all like sitting on a curb outside a house with their bikes. And it's like, this is how we used to meet up as kids and find out like how everyone was doing.
Yeah.
Or where everybody was at.
Yeah, what's everyone doing? And like during the summer, I remember that as a kid, we used to do it all the time. Every day, 9 a.m., we'd meet at the park. All the kids. All right, what are we doing today? And that's, I almost like, feel like that's kind of gone, you know?
It is gone, dude, because they're going to be like this. They'll be on a text thread from their bed.
Right.
Hey, what are we doing today?
Right.
And then that, that's actually a really interesting point. And I feel like because of this ease that we have. With,
It's like when Tim FaceTimes all of us in the group chat, and we're like, fuck.
Yeah, but no one ever picks up, dude.
I call back.
You do.
And I FaceTime back.
Jordan and Sam are hard sometimes. I'm like, God damn, guys.
you guys always do it when I'm in the bathroom. No one wants to see that. I love you guys, but I'm not that comfortable.
Show some thigh.
Yeah. No, but I just think that that's one of those things that, like, for the reason that you were saying, like, hey, like all the kids in the neighborhood, right, or whoever you're friends with, whatever. Like your thing was meet up, Saturday morning. We always hang out. I feel like in that process, the people who were kind of like on the fence, I don't know if I want to go out. You still go because it's a thing, and you don't want to miss out on that thing. And now everything's digital. Everything is from, and it's very convenient.
It's easy
There's
to
no doubt.
flake.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Because then you would almost feel like, oh, I got to go because then they're going to be wondering where I'm at.
It's right. Built-in safety as well, right? Like think about like back in when you first started driving.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm dating myself.
MapQuest? I still call it that.
Dude, it is still MapQuest to me.
Yeah.
Always will be MapQuest.
You would think I'm a boomer. Oh, also think about
Boomer's
it.
gonna boom.
Boomer's gonna boom, dog.
If you think of Seinfeld, can you think of like how different every episode would be if cell phones were then?
That's a good point.
Like a lot of those scenarios wouldn't even happen.
Right. And
The show about nothing.
the show about nothing would even be more about nothing because everyone would just answer
on
all
their
the
phone.
questions that are asked. Like every premise of that show is based upon some kind of question.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, I don't know, dude, just look it up on your phone. Pff, end of scene. What about those bubbles?
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's like the one. I'm not a huge
There's
Jerry Seinfeld fan,
shrinkage.
but yeah,
The pool was cold.
but that's the. So I don't know. I just think that we're kind of. I don't know. I don't know how things will change. I just think that this is the progression of where it's going, and I mean, like they're not going to get rid of this. This will always. This is the new norm, which I'm not saying it needs to. I hope we continue and progress from it. But I think that the problems that will be associated with it, with the lack of social structure and being able to like be socially comfortable because everything's driven through your phone and you don't have to be in person anymore. Everything is just, what I want you to see via this phone, right?
Right.
Which, I mean, kind of ties into things we talked about in the past as far as like Instagram and like how it can drive people to being sad because it's like all you see is this one person posting all these amazing things about themselves. And then it's like, oh, I wish I had that life. And you're like, that's life's bullshit, dude.
It's
Like,
it's so unbelievably fake because
It's draining for one. Takes a lot of your time.
it does. It does. And we've said this before, but like, okay, look at my social media, right? Surfing, podcast, skydiving, fun stuff, right? Wow. And people are like, oh my God,
Makes
you
mine
have
look fucking lame.
Well, yeah, people are like, oh, you have such an amazing life. But I'm like, you have no idea the struggles behind my life and the things that I'm going through or currently going through, or the other person. Like, it may look cool, but you're looking at the representative.
Yeah.
You have no idea what that fucking person's going through. Or what their life is, or how fit. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because that's what social media has trained you to do. And I don't mean you individually. I mean for everybody. Because it's
you.
That's right. I'm talking to you. No, but essentially that's what it has done. It has because it started with MySpace. And it started with all these because what it was a neat opportunity for you to put up your best self.
Fucking Tom, dude.
Right? Yeah. Tom has on to something, for sure. But I think in that realm, that's like no one was like, I mean, there's people I'm sure that have done it, but like for the bulk of everyone who's on there, no one's going up like having a so-so day.
Yeah.
Just on here because I need to talk to somebody. There are people that will put that, but what I'm saying is but that's not the base generated. Like,
it's more like flaunting.
Awesome! I went out and did this, or like we were just saying, like and there's nothing wrong with that either. Because be stoked in the moment that you're having, and if that's what you want to share with people, it just turns out that sharing with people is probably only what you're putting on there. So from someone in an outside perspective, they may be like, kind of push them further into a deeper hole if they're being bummed out. They're like, look at all these people's lives are all together and everything's awesome and they're having a great time. And I'm sitting here struggling with X, Y, and Z. You know, like it's tough. And I feel like the bigger impact of this is going to be the kids coming up in it, you know, because at least we can sit back and say like, yeah, I remember MapQuest when you had a 60% chance of getting to the wrong destination.
Yeah.
Right. Which is an actual real thing, you know, but this next generation of kids, no one knows what a Thomas guide is. No one knows how to actually utilize a Thomas guide for another reason, which if anyone doesn't know what a Thomas guide is what the old people use for a mapping system.
Or the yellow pages.
Or the yellow pages.
Dude, the yellow pages.
It's a doorstop now.
Oh my, yeah, no one uses that.
Did you ever use the yellow pages?
Yes.
As a kid, my dad forced me.
Really?
I used it all the time
okay.
when I was younger.
I knew how to reference stuff, but I've never like called anything.
I remember like being in like youth group at church and they'd have those strong guys come, they'd bend like a frying pan and rip a phone book in half. You're like, oh my God.
So dumb.
Oh yeah. So you got okay.
Look what the
be
Lord
like
did
that.
for me. You know, you're like, what the?
I know what you're talking about because I feel like I've seen those guys on TV, but we didn't have things like that in my school, like in the public school realm, which I'm sure it's because it's like a religious base.
Yep.
But what we would have is like we had this one. It was there'd be always like the drug-free, you know, rallies, and then there'd be like this guy came out. God, it was like had him in maybe middle school, which is kind of weird, but I get what they were doing. But anyways, he came out and the whole premise was on abstinence. It was like safe sex.
Oh, baby.
I'll never forget what this guy said because I was.
Did you wear the ring?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
I totally did.
not that I'm against it
real fast.
not that I was against that or not. I was like, because yes, that is factual. To not get an STD, don't have sex with anybody.
Yeah.
That will put you, you know, not saying for
fall off.
well, I'm just saying if you want, like, being smart, right?
Yeah,
like, if that's what you're trying to do is 100% guarantee that, then yes. But what I always thought was funny is because this guy had, like, some song he sang, but it ended with no ringy, no dingy. And to this day, I don't know what this guy's name is. And for whatever reason, if you ever listen to this show, dude, I don't agree with it, but that stuck as far as a sales pitch. It was very, very creative. I don't know why I'm even talking about this right now.
No, I just thought it was, I thought it was funny because, Danny, I don't know if you remember those days, but yeah, it was funny. They'd bend the pans, rip the phone books in half. And we're like, we do this for Christ and he can give you power. It was just like, what the fuck?
But they actually tore a phone book in half?
Yeah, that's got to be pretty hard.
I mean,
my max is three letters.
What?
With an envelope on them, so I guess technically that'd be 6. But
I get it. Yeah, I was like,
letters.
3 letters? Like the first letters of your name, Danny Roy.
I was like, which ones are they?
I can only rip through
B,
Dan.
C, X, and L.
Yeah.
That was so silly.
Hit that bell for silly.
I love when he said silly.
Anyway.
Because it sounds like there's a slight lisp when you say it.
Is that weird? I think that's silly. Where else? Oh, hey, because you brought this up before we started. Tom Brady.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
last subject. What's Tom Brady? Go.
Okay. So he made a big deal about the retirement.
Yes.
I mean, at least I saw the Instagram post about how he's ready to be there for his family now. They need him. It's time that, leaves.
Yeah.
What is it? It's only been like 2 months? Hasn't even, in other words, even if he didn't retire, he would be still on like vacation time right now.
Yeah, like they haven't started OTAs or they haven't started any training.
Yeah.
Like yet.
And he's already announcing he's back. So in other words, fuck them kids. So
But that's
he did not like that dad life.
But the guy like that, I feel like he's such a go-getter and such a worker.
Yeah.
Even though he has that ridiculous amount of money, he's still going to be doing something. I don't think he can sit back.
I don't think so either. Like, because my thought was, I was like, okay, well, he's going to be like the next like Monday Night Football commentator, like, because he's a little bit of a personality. He talks well, you know what I mean? Like, can obviously break down the game probably better than anyone.
I don't think he'd handle leaving without like winning.
Right.
Like he doesn't want to walk out how.
Like he wants to go out on a high.
Yeah, he needs to go out on a high.
Yeah, and I feel like that has got to be because I saw the same post and it was just kind of like because like to me like it's so funny like. Never really been a Tom Brady fan just because like I don't like the team.
Not a fan of his teeth and jaw.
Really?
Neither here nor there, but
Tom Brady's teeth and jaw?
yeah, it bothers me, that whole lower half.
Fuck, what? I never even thought about that.
He's a good looking guy.
Yeah, I was
I don't think he's hot.
Really?
No, I don't. I'm not attracted.
I'm not saying he's hot, but I was like, he's a good looking dude.
No, doesn't do nothing for me.
Okay, well,
He's got corn teeth.
You like them Cowboys with the dad bod, I know.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you're a big fan of Rip from. Am I wrong?
I mean, if I go to a PBR, I'm in heat. So.
Oh Jesus!
Well, Tom, you don't have anything to worry about from Danielle.
God bless you, Chris.
I won't fall in those DMs.
Dude, so, but that's, like after seeing this comment about it, it was like, I'm like, oh shit, dude, it's the end of an era. It really is, because whether you were a fan of him or, honestly, I'm not a fan of him. It's just, I'm not a fan of the Patriots, but, best that's played as a quarterback, right? So it's like, this is kind of an end of an era, right? And 2 months, not even 2 months, boom, back into it, baby. And I think that like, if you have people that have achieved, because he's hit all the markers, right? He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, most winningest quarterback of all time, blah 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 blah, yardage, touchdown, but you can go down the list, right? Now, someone in that position, what drives you to even want to keep continuing, other than the fact that like you love playing this game? Because it ain't about the money. Like, look, because it's not about the money. Like, he, as far as if you go contractually, like what he signed for and played, even when he was in the Patriots, he took a huge pay cut to stay with them another year just so he can get 2 more players on the team to restructure their contract.
That's a leader, dude.
He's a fucking leader.
He's a leader.
Right? And that's like, not that he's the only one that's ever done that, but you don't see that publicized very much. And with that one, he was outspoken about it. He's like, I want to win, and the only way we can win is if I get these extra players on my team, and I'm willing to take a cut. I mean, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, dude, the motherfucker's got like hundreds of millions of dollars between him and his wife. But just the ability to do that, it just shows that his love of the game is that much more than obviously you got to be a little self-absorbed because you want to be the best, but at the same time, it's because of the love for the game as well, and how it surrounds himself with people that want to win. Like, he's a very good, like, I feel like kind of like how, like, if you're gonna push like the youth factor of football, like, who do you want to be like? I'm not saying you have to physically be like Tom Brady, because I would actually pick a different quarterback style, but that attitude, that leadership, that's what you want,
I think he just heard Kim K saying nobody wants to work anymore. And he just like, fuck, got called out. He had to step back in there.
You brought up that.
He's like,
so what happened with that? She said that she made a comment. Okay, we don't have to talk. Get it too crazy.
Yeah.
But.
So I think she did an interview thing, because we're going off E, we're saying goodbye, and then for what, only like a few months later, be announced here on Hulu now with the same thing. Oh. So I guess, I don't know, Kim was doing like an interview, and she was like, the problem is like nowadays nobody wants to get up and fucking work. Like, you need to get your ass up. Like, in other words, you need to get out there and
so we should make a sex video.
Work hard. So that's actually the argument.
Out of that.
That's the big argument right now, because I see both ways coming from her, because she does work hard. Yeah, like she works hard. She takes in a lot, especially with everything going on with freaking Kanye Marie going nuts everywhere. So it's just like, there's that, but then at the same time, it's easy to hit a home run when you're starting off at third base.
It depends on how you view the hit for the sex tape. If that was her grinding to get to third, that was her doing it. I don't know. I was trying to make a euphemism about baseball. Anyway, that wasn't good. Yeah, of course.
Because you already started with money regardless.
Well, I mean,
and then
she came from money, right?
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you could go either way. Like, look at Rob. He's not really in the limelight or anything, probably. But I mean, like, so she does hustle. She does work hard. But you have to also accept the fact that it's going to be easier for somebody who's starting off so many steps ahead versus somebody.
What you got to think about, too, we've talked about here with our podcast. Like, there's celebrities that start podcasts and they got it. They're making money, where it's like, okay, well, all of us, and this is respectfully saying, we're nobodies, right? We're just average people. But we're doing a podcast, and we want to do it for, we're trying to push and continue to do it for, it's hard.
Yeah. Speak for yourself, Tim, on the loser.
So, I mean, it's not, I don't know if people don't want to work, but I think there's a different work ethic now, and it's changing. I don't know if it's because of our current situation in our country or whatever it is, but I see it. I see people don't want to put in hard work and sacrifice for the things that they want. And unfortunately, in everything that you do, or any of us want to do, you start from the bottom. You're going to eat a shit sandwich. Like, it's just nothing's handed to you. And I don't want to be successful instantly. Fast money's bad money is what I always say.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that steady growth, organic following, and make it worth something, because to me, it's more the journey.
Yeah.
I love putting something together and seeing it come together and seeing the success of it together and what the outcome eventually is, And
it solidifies a foundation as far as development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it makes it would be more secure in moving forward, not having a big flash in the pan and then trying to withstand that.
Right.
Now, her flash in the pan was definitely the sex video.
It's flashing her vagina, but yeah.
Because, and you know what? Like, and honesty, and like, I haven't heard anything negative, so I'm assuming that it was consensual. So I think that Ray J gets more of a shout out for this than anything, because if it weren't
really
for
annoyed
him,
with this too.
Yeah, but like, you got to think, because Brandy's brother, he came up, he was a one-hit wonder, he had a little bit of clout, she sleeps with him, they make a tape, boom, rest is history. And because really her backstory, and like, I'm not a Kim Kardashian like super enthusiast, but from what I know is that she was the daughter of a prominent lawyer that represented OJ in the OJ trial, right?
Even more famous stepdad.
Was
Bruce.
Well, that was later down the road. But what I'm getting at is that she part of a wealthy family development. She somehow bridged the gap of being friends with Paris Hilton, because she was Paris Hilton's like wardrobe coordinator or something along that. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie got super popular with that show, which was one of those kind of first reality TV shows that hit. Video comes out now. I didn't know who Kim Kardashian was, but I'm sure everybody has seen the video, because you're like, oh, crazy, Ray J hooked up with it. Who's this person? Then all of a sudden, bang, 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 she starts getting her wheels going. Show comes out. She marries a handful of people in a short amount of time. There's like Reggie Bush. Was there a basketball player in there?
He was the shortest one. Humphreys. That was a short marriage, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you meant I was like short.
No, I was like, he's like 6'8".
No.
They're a massive person.
Yeah, they're.
Theirs was like 3 months.
Yeah, I think he realized, he's like, I'm out of here.
To be involved with that family, you for sure have to be on board with like exploiting your life completely. And I feel like everyone probably thinks it's like, oh, whatever, you get popular money, prestige.
That's very stressful.
All that stuff.
It's very stressful.
I wouldn't last in that. I'd be like, I'm over it.
No, I mean, and that's why a lot of times at least with my life and doing this podcast, I try to keep it private.
Yeah.
I don't want shit. It's just like, dude, that adds so much goddamn pressure to you, and then you got all these people giving their fucking opinion. It's like, stay away, dude. That's one thing I honestly don't want.
But you have no idea. True life.
I'm just saying, though, if for whatever reason anyone comes to us and says, hey, do you want to be a part of a reality TV show?
Okay.
It would be pretty fun. Because if you really watch the show, which I've seen a couple episodes, I'm not like super fan of it. The way they do it is genius. There's only like 8 minutes in a 30-minute episode of actual filming. So I'd be like, hey, Tim, do you want to go bowling? Danny, call up Chris. Let's go bowling. How funny would that be? And you'd be like, oh,
I'd be like,
Tim doesn't wear these bowling shoes that I bought him for Christmas. And
Right,
this is going to be
right.
a problem.
Oh, my God.
Boom, boom, boom. And then it's all cut edits
is your
of us
ball
walking around.
organic?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Like, however, we just incorporate, friends or family, whatever, just short clips. Boom. They're like 20 seconds making a comment. Ha, ha, ha. Drink. Ha, ha, ha. Drink. Cut it, edits out, back shot. Boom. Couple commercials. It's over.
You know what I always
There's
think
nothing.
of? How awkward is that, like, stare back? Like, and they always say, yeah, so I'm done. I'm never going to talk to him again. And then they're just like staring at each other.
Yeah, where there's like, and it's
and
like
that's
10
when the music
seconds.
cues in for like the ending of the episode. And
It's like,
I always think, like, how awkward is that stare back? Like those expressions you have to make.
Yeah, you just kind of look. I know exactly what you're talking about.
but it's not like a mistake.
Yeah.
Because it happens in all those shows all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you guys, oh, sorry. We keep saying we'll keep it quick, but I was like, did you guys watch Love is Blind?
Yes.
Oh my God. Did you see season 2?
Yes. Okay.
Same.
I mean, I have to admit, I am trash TV is my hugest guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Like, I don't care how stupid it. I have to watch it. So yeah, I saw Love is Blind. God.
We should okay.
Do it.
No,
we should do an episode on it.
No, we should do for the monthly review. We'll table that one.
I like it
because that could be a whole episode, and it's like a fun combo. Plus, if you haven't seen it, dude, it's worth watching.
We'll watch it. Hell yeah. I'm in. We'll bring out the monthly review. I got some questions for you guys.
All right.
Okay.
You ready? You're going to answer. I'm not answering this week. Okay, you guys ready? We'll start with Danny. If you or your partner were pregnant, where would be the worst place to go into labor? You and your partner were pregnant. Where would be the worst place to go into labor? I know Jordan's going to have a good one because of our career choice.
I mean, my immediate thought would be like in the car. But I mean, there's plenty of areas, but it's like, I just feel like when I'm in a car and I can't go anywhere because of traffic, like I get so anxious. And me feeling what labor feels like,
You know, if you're with me, I'd be like, you better not get these fucking leather seats fucked up.
No, that would be
put
me.
a towel down.
That would be me. Okay, like real quick story that goes with this. We were gonna go somewhere, and we were like, "I'll take my car. I'll take your car." No, so we ended up settling with Chris's. Well, his car doesn't have leather seats, and for whatever reason, my son, who didn't even seem sick, projectile vomited a lot all back there, and I was like, "Oh, well, it's a good thing we didn't take my car."
Gross.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's why I have seat covers everywhere.
I mean, a car would be a bad spot because you have potential for making an absolute mess in the car. The first thing I thought popped up would be like camping somewhere. That'd be like the worst place because like you're not close to any sort of medical facility. I was thinking like more practicality. You guys being like, oh, I don't want to ruin my seats. I'm thinking, which no, it totally makes sense. My first thought was like an emergency. Like, what would you do?
These vanity bitches.
If there's some kind of complication, you're not going to be able to mitigate that out in an area. Whereas at least if you're in the car, hopefully on the way to the hospital, because that has been my experience a handful of times of delivering a baby in the back of a vehicle, or actually most of them have been in the car. Actually, there's been a couple. I think, yeah, house. But I don't have any ones where because I think it's 8 I've delivered in the field. And
sorry,
8?
Doctor.
Damn, I've done 3, dude.
I know, dude. I'm the baby guy.
Holy cow! It's stressful.
Hat on backwards. I'm like, hut.
It's fucking stressful.
Especially when they're like, "Oh, is this your first?" They're like, "No, it's my 4th." I'm like,
"This bad boy's coming
quick."
He's all throwing the umbilical cord over the shoulder. Got this.
Ready, push.
Oh my God. The best story though, Jordan, is you when you guys was like, "Hey, we got to go to the hospital," and you said you like just went around the house, but you didn't do anything. You were like,
oh yeah, that was our first son was born. Yeah. It was true though. I mean, that's exactly because I remember that we did a podcast. Funny. We were talking about it, and I was like, it was like I've had moments like that before where you're trying to like do something, but you feel like you're just walking into rooms and walking out, and then like you'll have these momentary lapses, like, oh, what did I go in here for? It was like that, but for like 10 minutes, and but instead of walking, I was frantic. Because it was like, okay, by the time I'm actually conceptualizing that this is happening, we need to get going. And my wife was being awesome about it. She's like, calm down. I'm like, no, we got this. I didn't pack nothing. I didn't prep for anything because I thought we still had like another week or two, and which should have been prepped like a month out. But I'm not that kind of person. I was like, oh, I'll get there, Right. And this whole time, it's like to me, even today, it still feels like I probably look like an old like a Flintstone cartoon where I was just like running and then skidding and like the smoke pops up from the skid and then I'm like, what do I need? Be like, oh, I need this. So I run into the other room, but I never actually get anything done.
Cloud circle. It's like cartoon.
Is it like a cloud circle?
Totally.
Poor wife was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that was in fact exactly what she said. She's like, take a breath. It's gonna be okay. And
she's the one giving birth.
You're supposed to be one panicking, not me. And
oh my God,
I was a single mom with my first one, and my mom was the only one with me, and I'm like, oh, we're going into labor. Like my mom's like, you're going into labor. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was really calm. My mom's like, let me go take a shower real quick and then I'll take you. I was like,
how did you get prepared for this?
I was like, okay. So an hour and a half later, we left.
Can we please go now?
Here's a good one. The last one, okay? All right. What do you do when you want to get out of your own head? What do you do when you want to get out of your own head? Danny.
Smoke a fat bowl.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I could see how that would work.
Dude, and I have like the best thoughts ever in that mindset. Like everything creative comes out of me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should work for the FBI when I'm stoned. Okay. I like literally figure out the most tedious things sometimes.
Maybe they should implement something where that is an option. in the FBI that might be more productive.
I usually go for a walk.
I was just gonna say, I was like, mine's something physical. You know, like as far
I gotta
as
do something.
like,
I gotta get out.
Or go for a run, go to the gym. Not really actually the gym. I like outdoor. Like if I'm really like need to clear some headspace, I just gotta go like make myself like hate myself for doing what I'm doing, like running. I fucking hate running, but I'll go do it. And when I'm done, I'm not like, oh, that was awesome. But I'm like, okay, I needed that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And no offense, I know you love running.
Dude, I know. Whatever.
I'm trying, dude. I'm doing the bike thing, bro.
Oh, how do you like it?
I might actually buy some shoes.
Good.
For it.
Good.
Wow,
Yeah. Because like
there.
I've been trying to do like 10 miles. Like,
hell yeah.
Just, you know, and like there's a little bit of elevation in the area that I'm going around, like not off road, but it's like basically the bike trail, like on the riverbed. And I dig it.
How's your cheekies feel? Getting used to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know if you want to call it your cheekies.
It's like
your gooch. Yeah. You got to toughen that fucking area up, man.
But I definitely need to buy some sliders or something, like to put a little pad there.
Yeah, we'll get you some bib shorts.
Okay.
We'll figure it out, bro.
I just picture you walking in home to your wife like, oh,
I'm
like you got chaps on.
Just butt clanking. Like there's nothing sexy. She's thinking cowboy, and I come in with a bike suit on. Hey, babe.
I know. Here I am in all my glory.
Like, go outside and change.
Hell yeah. Well, it's good for you, though. It's non-impact. I like cycling. I really do.
It's fun. It's rad.
You get out and you can really freaking think. But that's why I say I used to do something physical.
Absolutely.
But
God, I sound like a freaking sloth.
No.
I just really want to get high and snack on some things and watch a movie.
You didn't elaborate. You just said what you like to do. That's and that's totally cool.
To each their own. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But well, shoot, man.
I do go through.
Do it.
I do go through cleaning rages though, like you do.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I could have actually put that up there too. With like as long as not just getting outdoor. Like I'll get into cleaning something. I'll just go on a tirade.
Yeah.
And
you can't stop me. If you stop me,
then I get mad.
Yeah.
I get bitchy. I'm like,
yeah.
Of course you're gonna,
think about it all day. Like,
should have just did the baseboards.
I missed that corner.
God. Oh, before you guys end this, I want to give a shout out to our camera operator and also, I guess, host too. He speaks in a lot of stuff. But Sam, we love you. He had some
Samarona
surgery. He's at home recovering. He'll be back in a week. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, Sam. Get better soon, dude. And nice tattoo. We were just talking about, hey, he posted
nice
it.
Chest
so I feel
plate.
Like I had no idea that he was inked up like that. And
He's covered, dude.
The photo that he shared was a conversation with his
mom.
family or with his mom saying like, I didn't know. I was like, that's hilarious because I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was a meme at first.
So I did.
And then I'm like, dang, Sam's got some ink, dude. It looks good.
Hey, Sam.
He's covered.
Them legs.
I don't know what she's talking about, Sam.
I love your legs, Sam.
Those are awesome, dude.
We love you, bud. We'll see when you come back.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Well, that wraps up the weekly topical special. Thank you, everybody. No, just we're so glad to make it on and look forward to next week, which will be the review. Yes. So let's do a 1, 2, 3. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody.
And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is EIGHTNINE BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.